Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a night of ESL Challenger League, not on our normally scheduled Tuesday or Wednesday. It's Thursday night ECL, and it's Bog and Pineapple Phillips with you. Unfortunately, due to the update, we couldn't have it last night, but we have it here for you tonight, Nate. And, well, that's just the wonder of online Counter-Strike. If it doesn't happen yesterday, it's going to happen today.
Yep, if it doesn't happen yesterday, it'll happen today. And in fact, we do have the exact same matchup we were expecting to have last night. So really, realistically, it is essentially a one-day shift, as you mentioned. And we have a rather exciting matchup on this evening, Boggs. It's Party Astronauts versus Timbermen on an uncharacteristic Thursday night afternoon, or Thursday evening.
Yeah, I'm excited for some Thursday night ECL. We can see there's Legacy and Limitless over on ESL CSB as well, but Party Astronauts Timbermen is where we find ourselves as the season grinds to a close. Next week is the final week of the regular season of ESL Challenger League Season 48, playoffs the week after, so we're getting towards the end of 2024. And for Party Astronauts, they've had a lot of roster changes as of late, losing both Sixy and Wolfie. We'll get back into that in a little bit. But there's been some serious roster changes down the line in North America, despite it being this late in the season.
Yeah, a lot of roster changes for both of these teams, as you mentioned. Those two heavy hitters are coming out of the roster lineup, taking a break. Again, makes sense considering their little success outside of the domestic competition. Of course, Party Astronauts pick up Peeping and OG Wizard to flush out their roster. Timbermen pick up Nero and Aleph. I believe they lost Dia and Peeping, who is now going up against them under his new team name. That'll be an exciting head-to-head there. But Timbermen's the same core as, Snav, Dare, and Shane. Party Astronauts have Ben, Leet, Infinite, and Fang as their core. And this is a very interesting one because, again, of those roster changes very late in the season.
Yeah, and considering that now the core of Party Astronauts is Ben, Leet, Infinite, and Fang, that's kind of weird if you've been a longtime follower of North American Counter-Strike. The duo of Ben, Leet, and Pone Alone finally fell earlier this year, and Ben and Sixy had been together for quite some time. Infinite rejoining this Party Astronauts roster, almost a minus twice, plus twice situation there with Infinite and PA. But now with Ben, Infinite, and a very experienced player in Fang as well to round out the squad with OG Wizard and Peeping coming in, both as younger players, it makes a pretty solid roster, and they just took down Nouns 2-1 earlier today as well, so that's a very big team for them to drop in a best of three, and there's a lot of potential for this roster, especially with some added firepower, opping-wise in particular, in the form of OG Wizard.
Yeah, Wolfie wasn't an explosive opper, but he was a very consistent one. He found damage pretty much everywhere. It was rare that he would have a bad game, but he doesn't take over. He's not one of those players you watch for the flashy op plays. OG Wizard, despite being a young player, very much is. He's a man who can be exploding into the round. He can take over a round. He can take over a game if you aren't careful. And so he gives Party Astronauts a lot of, I don't want to say volatility, but he does give them a lot more possibility in terms of the highs that they can hit.
I agree. And he also plays a very stable form of opping as well. He's not over-aggressive. He'll throw everything to the wind to take over the map. He'll still play a very disciplined, very regimented style of opping. A lot of take the angle, take your shot, back to the next corner. Take the angle, take the shot, back to the next corner. And he misses very rarely. He hits the shots he should hit 9 times out of 10. And that's the important thing for any opper, is hitting the shots you should be hitting. And he'll go in there and hit the shots he shouldn't be hitting too, just for good measure.
Yeah, again, it was exciting seeing him throughout the season. It's good to see him find a home on a seasoned team like Party Astronauts. I think they can really play around him and play him to his strengths. Ben Leet is a very smart IGL to kind of take these young players under his wing. We haven't really touched on Peeping yet either as another young gun on this squadron. He's more of an impact player. He doesn't take over rounds. In fact, there's sometimes where you're like, he's too quiet. But especially when the team needs him, he is there and he can have a tremendous impact. A lot of multi-kills come to mind when you think of Peeping. Again, quiet for a while, but when you need him, when he needs to step up, he definitely does.
Yeah, he kind of just sits under the radar, and when he's required, he pops up. But let's look at the standings here as we are into our final 3 days of the regular season for ECL. NRG top of the table at 21-5. They've completed their season. Wildcard just behind them, 20-4, a chance to actually take over that top spot. Legacy and M80 both at 19-3. So they are also within striking distance of those top two. So the top two spots that get you a bye into the second round of the upper bracket are still up for grabs, and NRG do not control their own destiny anymore.
No, they don't. And this is very interesting because I thought that the top two kind of be locked down between NRG and M80, just given NRG's very solid start. But those last two games that I didn't account for, I thought it was a 24-game season, actually a 26-game season, really do throw a spanner in the works. Wildcard, if they win both of their last two best of ones, they will get 22-4, eclipse NRG. Legacy and M80 still have room to eclipse them both as well. Legacy was kind of flying under the radar for me. They were a team that was very slow to start their season, and I didn't really know what to think of them because they were from an outside location, a Brazilian team, if I'm not mistaken. And M80, of course, slow start because of Pro League. But Nouns is sitting at a very solid spot of 5th place, or Nouns and Party Astronauts close behind them at 6th. Party Astronauts want to stay within that top 6 to guarantee a spot in that upper bracket, so they need to be winning every game they can.
Yeah, they're on the cusp. They don't really have too much of a challenge from Isolos Laser or from Boss there at 11-13. Timbermen are on the cusp of playoffs, keeping pace with Fluffy Aimers, 8-14 respectively, with 2 more best-of-1 series to go for both of those two teams. And for Timbermen to have to go up against a resurgence in the Party Astronauts at this stage of the season is not good for them at all. I don't think Timbermen will be knocked out, but it could affect their seeding desperately. And when it comes down to a lower bracket run, you need every single advantage you can get. And Timbermen have not been playing great as of late. They weren't playing the best even before they lost Dia and Peeping, and they lost a ton of firepower and opping power when those two players departed.
Yeah, a lot of firepower loss was my takeaway. Nero and Aleph, they looked decent the last time they played because this isn't their first set of best of ones in ECL for this team, but they are not the stars that you would hope they would be. Nero's taking a 0.81 HLTV, Aleph at a 0.66, both sub 60 ADR. They does not help them out in the fire power department where they already needed help. Now we do have the Veto for the first best of one on the evening. Party Astronauts, the higher seed. Paradoxically, given that Timbermen are now technically one spot ahead of them on the HLTV rating, but they will choose to start as Team B. That means Timbermen ban first, banning Inferno, followed by Vertigo and Ancient from Party Astronauts.
Yeah, Nuke and Anubis following up from Timbermen makes sense considering that Timbermen don't play Anubis very well, and they don't want to play Party Astronauts on Nuke, so they put it between Dust 2 and Mirage, and Party Astronauts 1-4 record on Dust 2. They're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So Mirage, it is an 8-4 record for PA on Mirage, 9-11 for Timbermen, who play it a lot, tied for their most played map with Ancient, except it's a reverse record, 11-9 for the Timbermen over on the Verdant map. But when it comes down to Mirage and the head-to-head ends up going to Party Astronauts. And so that goes into our predictions here. If me just saying who has the head-to-head and who has the firepower advantage in the last couple of minutes doesn't give you a clue, I'm all in PA.
Yep, and I agree with you. This is one of those times where we don't play devil's advocate. This is one of those times where I think they just have the advantage. They were already the better team heading into this prior to their roster changes. And I feel like the firepower, while not necessarily an upgrade compared to the two veterans of Party Astronauts, is definitely not a strict downgrade either. I really don't put much stake in either Nero and Aleph. As critical as that sounds, they need to prove to me and to the viewer that they really have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with some of these ECL teams, and this is a good way to prove it. But until they do, I don't think that they will be able to help this team get across the line, especially not against Party Astronauts.
Yeah, neither really has the capability, the ceiling of Peeping that we've seen so far, and Peeping's a very young player, so he's nowhere near his ceiling, and nobody on Timbermen is an equal op for OG Wizard, but we haven't really mentioned a particular Party Astronauts player all too much, and he's actually going to be our player to watch here. A lot of our focus has been on the young guns, but Fang, the former Complexity next to Assault player, is going to slot in here nicely. Best record for Party Astronauts as of late, a 1.16 HLTV rating, and given his ability in overall skill cap and experience from Counter-Strike, from all the times he's played internationally, it's no question why he's our player to watch.
There's no question. He really has emerged as the star player for this team. It's kind of him and 60 going toe-to-toe each other back toe-to-toe with each other back when they were on the same roster. But now that 60 has left the stage, so to say, Fang has all the spotlight and a lot of room to shine. Again, he's assisted by a lot of this team. Peeping can play support, etc. But Fang is the one that you look to get multi-kills, the one to open rounds, the one to clutch rounds if necessary. He is your jack of all trades, and I'm excited to see what he can do against a team like Timbermen that is still trying to find their footing following these roster changes.
And somebody else who's been doing really well for Party Astronauts as of late, especially in the last few days, has been Infinite too. He's been having a very good individual performance, which is good because we all thought of him as a very promising rifler back in the day. So to see him kind of coming back into that potential that he had a long time ago, I mean, a few years ago now, but he's been around the scene for a long time. I mean, Nate, we've been around for 4 years at this point, so we've seen a lot of North American players come up and come down. To see Infinite hitting this stride again is a great sign just for him as an individual and for North America as a whole.
Now, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm glad to see Infinite is finding his form once again. We are on to that first best of one in the evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mirage between both Party Astronauts and Timbermen. There was a knife round to decide who started where, so we'll see who came out on the upper end of that. Whoever's on the CT side should have won it, and the answer is Timbermen. They will be on the CT side to start. Mirage, Kit, Smoke, Flash for Shane, double dualies for Dare and Nero, and one set of utility on Ben Leet for the Party Astronauts team. Slow walk with 3 sitting out mid passive. Kind of spread out towards B and towards underpass. It looks like maybe a B split. Up catwalk is on the cards with that smoke connector. It would make sense, but they need to be careful at range. That USP over top the smoke could do a lot of damage. It does some, but they get by with all 5 surviving. Aleph finds the first from sight, and actually a second as well. Peeping coming out of the apartments, lurking around, finds a double in response though, and it looks to triple down. Left towards bench, finally puts that player down, but he's traded in kind to bring it back to even footing. Timbermen did have time to rotate players in. Both are here, but the bomb is alone. OG Wizard on site is waiting for his teammate. He knows they both are on site, but he cannot find either. Snav finds that kill. The flank from Fang is just a little bit too late, but he can still theoretically clutch the round. It's just going to be a far more difficult process for him. Spotting one, jumping out, trying to isolate something, gets the first, but the IGL Snav quickly gets the trade. Timbermen steal the pistol and start things off well for their CT side.
Yeah, it got a little messy, though. Peeping brought it back to a winnable situation for Party Astronauts, and OG Wizard bought so much time for Fang to come through. I feel like Party Astronauts just thought a little too hard about that round, and if they got Fang there quicker, it puts a lot less stress on OG Wizard to buy essentially 30 seconds of time, which is an eternity on a site hold without the bomb ticking away, too. So maybe just simplify things a little bit for Party Astronauts, and they take away that pistol round. Fang still almost brought it back in the 1 versus 2, but that's a unfavorable situation for him. And it was well played by the 2 Timbermen players left alone. So they did well to handle the situation, and they'll go back into this with 4 MP9s, just Glocks and 2 Deagles for the Party Astronauts, Peeping and Fang with the hand cannons. And Infinite is going to get run boosted with the Glock across middle for the spot. Doesn't bait out any shots. The idea there is to get those shots in, get the trade with the Deag, and Party Astronauts in a very long-range area with arguably the worst gun for long-range duels in the Glocks in the hands of 3.
Yep, some of the worst pistols, yet still they do 95 to Nero before he escapes, and the Deagle combined with the Glock actually drops Dare. OG Wizard finishes what he starts on the Nero, so some good damage done. It's only SMGs dropped, but still 2 kills is more than could realistically be asked of the largely Glock round. Final player will fall without too much fuss, and the rifle again remains in hand for Snav, who got 2 more in this round, or that round I should say. However, Party Astronauts still doing okay damage in spite of the near-complete lack of investment.
Yeah, they've done a lot of damage so far, and now they actually get guns to use. They have AKs across the board. Timbermen having 3 M4s now, just 2 MP9s, investing heavily. No helmet for Nero will not pose a problem. There's a Bit of a lack of utility, though, for Party Astronauts as they go all in on AKs instead of getting a little extra util. And a very heavy mid-B lean as well, letting Timbermen push aggressively with the SMG to clear down A ramp. This is going to give all the information they need. They know it's going to be a B take, at least early on. Nade will do a crap ton of damage on the OG Wizard, down to 42 HP, as Dare will try to jump spot, and he'll deal with the first. Ben goes out, and he's only able to get one so far. Snap is still hiding back empty pillar as well. Fang out in middle on that lurk, sees three players his direction, sprays wild, and only gets the one. So for Party Astronauts, again, too much overthinking in the strategy, trying to go for these late lurks that's ending up costing the initial side take on the B area, and that's something they'll have to fix, and quickly. No bomb plant means no buy. It's going to be pistols and armor at best. And for Timbermen, a chance to stabilize the CT economy.
Yeah, 3 surviving that prior round is quite good for them. You get some AKs as well for their troubles. Party Astronauts on pistols, as you mentioned as well. The loss bonus gives them some armor and some utility, making this a scary buy, but Party Astronauts have been heavily favoring the B side, at least early on in this map. This round is no different. 4 players here. 1 is ahead of the Molotov, the rest is behind. There's 1 player lurking out mid as well. That's Fang again going for the lurk. Aleph is playing on balcony. Leaves us a smoke for a window. Dare is ready to flash his teammate in if necessary. Just straight hold from Party Astronauts. There's the flash. He'll peek, see nothing. Left will fall back. Smoke it. Party Astronauts will walk it. Straight push now for Infinite as he clears angles out close. Finds the first good flash from OG Wizard. Dare backside does get one, and there's a quick rotation from another A1S onto the site. Dare finds one. Dare finds a second. Snav actually stole the first. Fang lurking up catwalk. Now has a lot of duels to take. First secured, second secured as he races around. Looking for the third around door, and he finds it. Shane is the last. He lurked out window, and it looks like he's been heard as well. Fang heard the shots, doesn't get the kill. It's on OG Wizard, who is a supporting player with the utility and only a P250 in hand. It's just not able to get it across the line. The heroics of Fang are not enough to bring his team back into that round, and Timbermen find a 4th, albeit at a hefty cost.
Very hefty cost. Again, the damage is being done by the Party Astronauts, but they can't even get the bomb down. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, but I don't believe they've had a plant in these first 4 rounds.
Don't think so, no.
And yeah, no plant. Hats off to our observer for getting that information to us, because that's a big part of the game. If you're not getting the plant on the T side, it's not going to work out well for you. And Fang just runs out middle into the waiting op of Nero in an early pick for no damage. Now a double pick as Dare underpass, using that aggressive peek from the op as cover, takes out Peep. And Party Astronauts hemorrhaging bodies in the initial start of this second of this T side. And this 5th round is falling apart. Infinite goes 1 for 1. There's no attempt at a refrag possible there as Ben's way too late at a ramp. This is becoming a disaster half for Party Astronauts. Sure, their T side's not great on Mirage. It's that... Actually, never mind. I was looking at their Nuke T side. Their T side on Mirage is statistically better. And unless they're battling back from down a man again, it's only going to get worse.
Now that you mentioned that, I wonder if Timbermen actually won the knife round. Most teams typically do pick CT side, but both teams, in this case, are favored on the T side. Ben, 1 and done. OG Wizard now 1v2. Knows where 1 is, but he misses the first shot. There's a rather default one as well. Rather, give me, I think is the best way to put it, as an offer. It's a shot that you should be hitting more often than not.
He knew where he was.
5-0. For Timbermen, only 2 survive against. Their economy's not going to be flourishing. They've yet to let a round fall by the wayside, and additionally, Party Astronauts finally secured their first bomb plant. That means with the loss bonus, they can invest. They will be lacking utility on a couple players.
Peeping, only a smoke. OG Wizard double flashes, Infinite a Molotov. Only Ben and Fang really have a full kit to work with here. Heavy ramp pressure from Timbermen. Ben begins to back off, so do Dare and Snav. Infinite working up towards Palace, though, may just run into somebody. But it's another slow round from PA. A very bisecting round as well, as it seems on this T side they get a couple players mid, and the rest of the team goes towards either A or B. There's not much else besides that. It's mid control and lurk and pressure through apps or a ramp or through palace. And it's being read by timbermen.
Is being read. There's letting go of middle in this case, stacking on the A side. They always have the right stack at the right time. 3 towards A. Infinite, though, finds the first. Peeping a second. Infinite, a stellar find on the third. Ready to dismantle this A site stack. 2 remaining, Nero and a left op and M4. Might just elect for the save instead. As we mentioned, they've won 5 in a row, but they have not won these 5 cleanly. And that means that their economy isn't in the best of ways. They don't have that resiliency built up that you might hope they would. Nero staying alive would be able to drop an M4. A left would probably be able to do the same if required. Would give them another solid investment in round 6.
Have 3150, so just enough for an M4 and a flash.
Party astronauts will hunt a bit, but they shouldn't too voraciously. Keeping 5 alive is very good for the T-side economy. It's far easier to build up. And they want that resiliency on the T-side so they can continue to bring the hate that they finally found their first round.
Yeah, something to note too, Party Astronauts already playing 3 maps of Counter-Strike against Nouns. That's not an easy opponent, so they may have some mental sluggishness to deal with. They didn't even get a break between games either. They just kind of hopped right over here and are going at it again. But that's a much better round from Party Astronauts. They don't lose anybody early, most importantly. They've been playing from the back foot consistently in the first 5 rounds. And they peak together when they explode onto the ace side, which is what really makes that round click. Good shots, sure, but there's trade potential for all of those duels as well. Nobody's getting plucked apart early. Fang's going to go out mid again, but it's a much later start, although peeping, trying to peek out of underpass. His card has finally been called. Nero's expecting it, and Ben just running in. Doesn't spot anybody balcony. Doesn't even think about the possibility. So Aleph can double up and go for more. OG Wizard taking half the damage there. Great flashbang for Aleph, but OG Wizard at least able to take him down on retreat. But Party Astronauts hemorrhaging players once more. And Fang on the rotation. Read like a book by Shane. And that's a messy duel by Fang. He's lucky to get out of that one alive.
Shows the fatigue a bit, perhaps. Fang did have the best of him, no doubt, in that duel. OG Wizard walking up underpass could slip a gap or find a timing. He has been the bomb carrier more often than not thus far in this first half. Timbermen playing the numbers game now. Looks like they are once more. 2 in market going back towards A, 1 in ladder. Lock CT spawn. OG Wizard plants default. Fang is here to support, but it's going to be difficult.
No util for...
Waiting for his teammate. Pushes up. No util left for basically anybody. Smoke Molotov for the CT side, but they definitely want a flashbang right about now. Snap wins the first fight. Fang stuck between a rock and a hard place. Finds the first. The second spotted. The third also heard, but not enough ammo. And no fights cleanly won. The Timbermen take away the 6th and isolate Party Astronauts' 1-round victory in a sea of CT wins.
But because PA won with 5 alive, they can still buy back again. They've been getting bomb plants in the last few rounds as well, so that's been able to bolster their economy. OG Wizard may go for the op, and in fact he does. I would like to see him try to take a duel versus Nero here. I feel like you can't be sending your rifles to die to Nero's op. And that's something that Party Astronauts have done too many times on this T side so far. You have an op, use it to try and counter an op if you want to go for that duel. You don't technically have to either. And Timbermen are going back to this A ramp default, which has again cleared out this angle, and instead of playing it more passively as it did the last time, they're going all in, and OG Wizard dropped early by that op of Nero. So he's having himself a very good performance so far, and Party Astronauts are looking tired, they're looking fatigued, they're not looking like they normally do, and they're about to be looking at a 7-1 deficit because Dare is playing this perfectly on the flank. Expecting the players in middle, I don't mind him not going through apartments, because Party Astronauts have put so much emphasis on mid, this is going to cut out the lurkers and get a backstab for free. And he'll take down one, maybe two. Indeed, he'll find a pair. Reload as well will come through for him as Infinite gets tagged down low. Ben, bottom middle, knows where Dare is, but he can't really get out of this. He's in the low ground. He's in the kill box, and he's going to die sometime or other. How many CTs can he take with him, though? Because timbermen have yet to lose a player in this round. And Dare escapes top mid, too, with that smoke. He's playing this really well up top.
Yes, he is. Ben and Infinite, the final pair. 30 seconds remaining, and they're more paranoid about this flank than they are about the round itself. Seems like they've cut ties with it, more than likely going to save their weapons for the following. They're walking back in, takes the duel versus Ben Leet, but is bested at long last. Again, that damage is done. 10 seconds left. It's a save. Timbermen getting confident. That's a very scary proposition. They have such a lead that they're going to take some risks. They're pressing ramp, stealing away that round. The individuals are simply appearing and showing up for Timbermen. Snav is leading the team as the IGL at 10-2. Nero's finding success on his op at 8-3. Dare's at 7-8, still doing more than respectable damage. And Party Astronauts are obviously feeling the heat. They're going to try and buy around this save as best they can. Use a tactical timeout to talk things out. They seem to be at a loss.
It just seems to be a pretty flat T side. I'm not a fan of how they're treating mid at all. And Party Astronauts have essentially run mirrored of the same mid-control lurk take for, what, 6 out of these 8 rounds?
Yeah.
And one of them was pistol. And even then they still had that mid-lurk in Fang. And they go back to it again. 3 lean A, peeping underpass, Fang towards top middle. The same recipe over and over again. And they're not changing any of the ingredients. They're not even changing the players involved in the situation.
No. And it's been exploited. We saw the op of Nero just playing in connector, finding the opening. This time around, this is the one round that worked. It was the pop out A with the player Palace. It's the same setup from Timbermen, but with some slight adjustments, they'll be able to shut it down outright. OG Wizard, the last alive at ramp, gets a second in the round for his team, but he is alone. And that op is very unwieldy, not very flexible. Walk through the smoke for Dare. He's caught by OG Wizard. Third spotted, but not secured. Nero is the one to win the uppers duel in that technicality. And again, very slight adjustments from Timbermen allow them to shut down the one thing that works for Party Astronauts.
And that's completely red, too. The little bit of utility used from ramp, and Timbermen know, okay, it's going to be their 2A, 1 Palace, 2 mid strat. That's why the duel up in Palace was won cleanly, because it was just a straight read. Timbermen are reading it like a book right now. And Party Astronauts need to go back to the operations manual. Something different. An A pop here with the pistols and the hero rifle of Fang might actually be able to work too. Party Astronauts have yet to try a straight smokes A play. Molotov goes out ramp, but there's other Molotovs raining in from PA. Do they want to smoke it and go through? They don't have the utility for that, so the rotations are coming back in. Now they'll flood out, and Shane's actually going to get 2 on the initial contact. Finally traded out by OG Wizard, as Timbermen are very wary of a potential mid-play. OG Wizard trying to get that bomb down in towards triple. It's a bit more of an open plant, and he'll get it down and survive for a brief moment in time before he's eventually naded into oblivion. Keeping has that Galil, fights for 2, but he'll roast after the first. 1 versus 3 for Infinite, 1 versus 2, but he won't live long. Nero peeks around and removes some fire. Another bomb plant down, but Party Astronauts, their 57.7% T-side win rate on Mirage will not follow over into the next round.
9-1 is a statement half. Normally, when the going gets tough for Timbermen, your star is Shane. He's the one you look to really be finding damage when things are difficult. But when things are easy, he kind of falls back. He's more supportive. He throws the utility. That is exactly what's happening now. But you still saw that flicker of brilliance. When required, when given the opportunity at triple, he'll double down to shut down the take early. Party Astronauts, another buy, another op for OG Wizard, who's had a disappointing start to this map and start to this half. Op barrel spotted on catwalk. Nero is here. He's going to greed out and try to find it. That's a free one. Two are in Valley. Actually, a third now is grouped up as Peeping has come out underpass as he has faithfully throughout this first half. And the op of Nero, top smoke of window, finds another onto the very same player I just mentioned. Peeping, the underpass player. Fang, his lurk, it has gotten out of the choke point, but it has no easy kills to be found. Timbermen are reading that he'll go up connector and instead just both playing CT. And sure, Party Astronauts have taken the site, but there's still 2 players down. Make that 3. As Dare catches 1 from window. Catches 2 from window. It's just Fang. Stairs alone. This lurk is supposed to be the one to do a lot of damage and catch rotations, and it finds nothing. 0 damage in the round, except for a little bit of touches here and there, but no kills. Nothing substantive. Timbermen, double digits and potentially 11.
Yeah, this is a disaster half for Party Astronauts, and at this point, even a pistol round won't be enough to bring them salvation. A 10-2 at best is nigh impossible to overcome. And I'm sure Party Astronauts will be very happy to get out of this half. But this is not going to be a fun demo watch. This is going to be a very unfun demo watch. It's not like PA have necessarily made bad individual plays. It's just there's been so little adaptation to what's been thrown at them.
Have Party Astronauts played this map with their new 5?
I'm not sure,
right
actually.
Now. I'm checking right now.
But
That's
here's
what
the
it
thing.
feels like. Okay, they played it earlier versus Nouns and won at 13-10. Never mind. Out the window.
Unless this is just one of the Timbermen classics where everyone just pops off, which is entirely possible.
It's happened less frequently this season, but it has happened, and it does happen.
Mm-hmm. It's what got them into playoffs last couple of seasons, really. That's just timing, but Fang's not ready for it. No trade potential again. And Party Astronauts running into... Nero? What in the world was that?
Confusing round to end this first half. Peeping, paranoid about the push ramp, finds Shane. And Party Astronauts might have finally found a winning recipe pushing up connector. Dare and Aleph, both coming from CT, both with AKs in hand, and now with no utility. Kits are at least there, and Dare gets the double tap onto Peeping, holding at the headshot angle, but still 3 more to unseat. Infinite in Palace just buys time. Planted for jungle, but they're actually flanking CT and playing connector instead. Dare will tap bomb, try to compel players forward, but this is a losing round at this point for Timbermen. They're just trying their darndest, and the swing from Infinite shows us what he's capable of. 2-10 from Party Astronauts as we hit the halftime break. A dominant 10-2 first half for Timbermen. On the CT side of all sides, sets them up well for a quick first best of one on the evening. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs on the mic. Party Astronauts with it all to do. Kit Smoke for Infinite, Molotov Doolies for Ben Leet, and 2 sets of utility for both Nero and Aleph. A dink through the wall, it appears, onto Nero from OG Wizards USP, but he gets a dink in kind from the enemy. Peeping finds Dare, also receives a shot to the head, but still survives. 5 versus 4 on paper for Party Astronauts, but again, 2 players with a combined 17 HP.
Yeah, not a great start as far as HP is concerned for PA. Manpower, sure. Ben with a nice flick over onto Aleph, trying to get into the kitchen. Ben will say there's too many cooks, but will eventually get overwhelmed by the last 3 players of Timbermen. Crispy headshot by Fang as he'll roast, but still escape for one more. Shane on site, bomb in hand. Eventually backstabbed by Peeping in that little engagement. One or the other was going to find him, and it's Party Astronauts who grab a pistol round. But a very long road back into this one. Need to see a lot more from this team to even begin believing right now, because it has been a pretty rough first half. 10-2 is never something you want to see. And for PA, they can't really afford to lose any more than what they lost in the first half, so it's back to the buys. M4s, FAMAS, MP9s, full Glocks for Timbermen, and this round should be over relatively quickly and in the favor of the Party Astronauts.
It should is the key word. Full Glocks, gonna struggle especially at range, but Peeping also similarly struggling. Swing from Fang's M4 will be enough, combining fire with OG Wizard. Peeping and Fang got pretty close to death, but Party Astronauts do escape with all 5 alive. 4-10. But as you mentioned, this deficit is so large that I just truly don't believe in it. Not until I see Party Astronauts win, not even this first rifle round, but the second rifle round as well.
Yeah, they need a lot and quickly. So utility floods out for the CT side. Pretty standard default here for Timbermen. 1 Palace, 1 Ramp, 1 Apps, 1 aggressively towards middle, and 1 not so aggressively towards middle. PA are not going to be goaded into a push here. They'll hold their line. And so we have a standstill, a stalemate here, with 1:15 to go in the round. I will say, I was very excited to see how the game looked at this level with the animation fixes.
Forgot about those.
That was like the biggest thing that stood out to me throughout the update. A lot of skins, a lot of fluff, but there was some substance underneath it, hidden under all the pomp and circumstance of 3 cases, a battle pass, and all that jazz. A very critical animation update. So I'm expecting to see some more strafing success in general. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. I'm not, actually.
I see them dancing around.
That's the thing, that I personally won't use them because of that distraction.
Fair. Less than 30 seconds left, though. Timbermen, speaking of distracted, finally make their play up connector. No utility thrown in to try and stop it. In fact, there's not any Molotovs left really to speak of. 3 kills for the price of 2. Dare and Snav make inroads, but with 12 seconds left and Infinite in window, the MP9 will sing at range. 1 kill secured, and a lot of distraction onto the second. Shane tries to put the bomb down out of sheer desperation, but he won't be given that luxury. 1 and 2 AKs recovered. 3 survive for Party Astronauts. Their bonus round works out. And so maybe, just maybe, both these teams have suddenly decided to become CT-sided teams, because both start things off right on their respective CT side halves.
I'm surprised to see Party Astronauts calling a timeout here, because they're having success. Maybe they just want to make sure everything's going according to plan. So that's something. Maybe they don't want to get too aggressive against what is most assuredly a half buy or a force buy at worst. And Timbermen, they're going to go for the half buy. Armor, Tech 9s, Deagle for Shane. Nothing too special there, bit of utility and snav. But Party Astronauts need to keep their players alive, don't give guns over to the T side to do more damage, and get this gap closed to 4 with relative ease if they want to really establish their chances at a comeback in this map. Full rifles is also nice. A couple of AKs helps out. More especially when the next round comes, the actual gun round, but denying the bomb plant would be very good for Party Astronauts here. Fang's playing very aggressive against this potential force buy. That's something to keep an eye on if he gets overwhelmed as the smokes go out towards jungle and stairs. Counter utility tossed in by the CTs. Nade going through as well. No full commitment to an underpass too to keep an eye on. Party Astronauts don't know that yet, of course. Timbermen still not made an exit out of ramp. Finally starting to go through. Fang blinded. Now engaging. Peeping, however, falls. OG Wizard helping out from the smoke. Infinite, another. Fang falls too. Aleph gets another. 2 versus 2. Party Astronauts are falling like flies. This is a big problem for that CT economy. Shane and Aleph, 58 and 32 HP. Recovered M4 for Shane as well up in Palace. Spotted and forced away by fire from Ben. Smoke on his position as well. The bomb down by Tetris. But at this point, the name of the game is damage. And Timbermen have already done quite a bit of that.
Yes, they have. Don't have bomb, sure, but as you mentioned, damage, name of the game. Keep the CT economy honest. Keep it on the brink. Because if you can keep it teetering, if you win one round, break it, that's suddenly 2, and that would be 12 for Timbermen, which would be something massive for them. Shane, massive trade, and now a 1v1. OG Wizard up close is beheaded by Shane. 8 HP remaining for him in a massive 1v2. Shane steals the round. And as I mentioned, the CT economy now kind of all over the place. They had a little bit more than you would expect coming into this round on a couple of players who had stocked up and survived. But as you can tell, 2 FAMASs, or 2 MP9s and 1 FAMAS, no kit. A lot to be desired for the CT side.
Yeah, that is a very flat round from Party Astronauts that they should have had no trouble at all converting. And that is a massive question mark overall for their further success. It is.
Lose this round, your economy is truly broken. And you're on pistols and maybe MP9s going up against a 12-5 scoreline. You need to get at least, I would say, 9 before they lose another to realistically have a chance, because Timberman can just pull something out of the hat, something random and aggressive, impulsive even, and it could just work out because of the way the individuals are playing right now. OG Wizard, an uncharacteristic miss to start things off. He does recover onto Shane. Nero, though, finds our player to watch in Fang as a return. We're back to even footing.
Back to even for now. The lone defender in Infinite, the MP9, has to be a turret. And he'll swing out for first contact and fall to Dare, peeping at Ticket Booth. Will attempt to do some damage. OG Wizard walking unawares. A snag will debrain a pair, peeping one and only one from CT. And Timbermen, 12-5 up on Party Astronauts, 1 away from taking the first of 2 best of 1s in this one. And that would be great for them moving forward towards the postseason. And for Party Astronauts, their bye to try and stave off defeat in this map, abysmal.
Abysmal. 2 5.7s, 3 MP9s, no kit, lackluster utility. In fact, only 2 players have any utility. It's going to take a miracle at this stage. The individuals have looked tired, I think is the best way to put it. Fatigued after their best of 3 versus Nouns. Just like we are after a long day's work. Benleet has at least taken apartments control. That's a good control on the extremity. Push towards ramp as well, coming through for Infinite and Fang. Mid control is the name of the game for Timbermen here. Not sure which direction they want to go. Peeping on the cinder block stack. Spots 1 and 2. Only gets the first, but the player swinging con off contact. OG Wizard finds the trade. Nero on the op, but Infinite. A kill at ramp in response. 2 versus 4, 1 versus 4. The player underpass caught. Nero now racing into sight, is hoping to find something. He knows there's at least one player here, and he's actually caught by OG Wizard jumping out the door. Party Astronauts do pass the first real test of this comeback. 4 surviving as well, allows them to build up a good economy. And by solidly going forward, but they need to win 6 in a row to actually secure the comeback.
Six in a row is a very tall task for Party Astronauts. But this round should not be too difficult for them. Hero rifle for Shane, no armor behind the bulk of their pistols, and a Glock and nothing on Dare. Outlaw has a Tech 9 and a vest. But of course, Timbermen won a round with a little bit less invested firepower-wise than the AK armor of Shane alone, so can't count them out of a round like this. Full mid control for the T side, but nothing further so far. They have not spotted anybody of Party Astronauts yet, although Fang is moving out towards middle slowly and surely, peeping in mid window as well, a more tentative angle. Backing away is full of management of this spot. That's an interesting call here. So go back to it. I think that's a much better call. Keep it at least a passive eye on the cross to jungle. As the bulk of Timbermen moving up through cons. Spotted by Fang. Shane taken out to 41 HP. Finished off by the op of OG Wizard. And now it's just a matter of time before the dominoes fall. And for Timbermen, the bomb plant at this point even seems a hurdle impossible to cross.
Seems like an impassable hurdle. Nero does at least pick up the AK, but with no armor, it's going to be difficult. Aleph finds Benleet, but Peeping drops Aleph in return. Fang actually drops Aleph, excuse me. 2 versus 3, make it a 1 versus 3. Fang finds another, Peeping the final. Pistols fall. Took a while, but they do all hit the dirt. The op, though, is not going to be recovered. Can they afford one? Fang can drop one. There it is. Timbermen, another crack at bat. With a near full investment. Op and 4 AKs. Decent utility on everybody barring Nero. Makings of a potential third team.
Yeah, the double off from Party Astronauts will be something to keep an eye on too. Ben having that secondary op. Peeping, diving down, running up towards middle. Flash from OG Wizard to allow him to peek. Up a line, Nero. Gone and down for the count. And down towards underpass. OG Wizard first takes a bit of a stumble on his retreat and is caught as he goes back in. Snav taking out Peeping in the meantime. 2, 3 versus 3. We're back level again. Rotations up by Timbermen going towards A site. No, the bomb's actually just tossing a bit of utility. And going back into T-Apps, Benleet is here raiding for them. The flash will force him away, but he'll still hang around. Expecting a slower peak like that. Dare hits the deck. And so, Timbermen down to 2 players. 3 still alive for the Party Astronauts. And time plenty for Timbermen. But to be careful not to run it down too low like a few rounds ago. Snav and Aleph will have to deal with Fang first and foremost in snipers. Stop. Spotted by Fang. Second player now known. And eventually removed. Support flash from Ben helping out. And only 4 rounds separating these 2 teams now.
Can this comeback look more feasible? Double op is in effect for the CT side. OG Wizard and Benleet picking up both those weapons. The individuals from Party Astronauts really rallying around and answering the call at this stage. Benleet is the bottom at 9, but everybody else is within 8 kills or so of each other. Fang is that star. OG Wizards at 16, TV's at 14, Infinite's at 11. Timbermen also across the board really doing well as a team. Aleph is at the bottom at 7, but everybody else is doing well, at least to an extent. Pistols and some Kevlar for the T side, and a pop out of Apartments is the play. That nade, though, is brutal. Op shot from Ben Lee misses. Recovers with the second. Peeping is still holding on Catwalk as well. Fang finds one. Drops come through. The spray is belabored. Peeping finds one. Ben lead a second. The final is Dare at Van. He's caught by Fang jumping forward. 9-12. A succinct one for Party Astronauts and a clean one as well. Building up their confidence and building up a road for a comeback. They only trailed by 3 now.
It's still quite a gulf, but it is shrinking. You're getting closer and closer to overcoming it. Ops still out for both Ben and OG Wizard. Nero has one of his own again. AKs across the board, though. Nero setting up for a smoke first. Looks to be a full A set piece from Timbermen. This is always a good go-to when you're struggling to put rounds on the board on the T side. Sometimes it's all you need. Smokes A, flashes high. Let's go get them, boys. And Timbermen are going to run on through. A CT smoke from Fang, actually, to allow him to cross. Molotov reigns in behind it. There's a bit of a gap here. Aleph seeming to try to exploit it, but nobody's going to give him the opportunity yet. The bomb begins to tick away. Aleph spots a couple of players, only taking down one. Fang there for the trade, but no further kills yet for Party Astronauts as Timbermen use their last piece of utility in a flashbang. Party Astronauts missing the first contact. Infinite falling to snap from Firebox. Speaking out for more as the smoke on site will fade. Fang clearing around. Ops on the other 2 players. Missed shot from Ben. Shane has OG Wizard all up to Fang. Needing 5 kills in the round, and he does not even get the first of his 1 versus 4. It's a 13-9 in favor of Timbermen. Took him a little longer to close the game, but still, with a 10-2 half, it would have been almost impossible for them to lose.
Yeah, 10-2 really just made it near impossible for Party Astronauts to come back into this. They showed us some good mental fortitude, stayed alive, tried their darndest, won 7 in the second half while only losing 3. But in the end, they did not leave themselves enough wiggle room to work with. And that simply means that inevitably Timbermen would win it, whether it be random rounds here and there, whether it be a sudden and strong resurgence. It was only a matter of time simply because they only needed 3 rounds out of 12 in the second half.
Yeah, they only needed 1/4 of the rounds total in an entire half. A very easy finish for the Timbermen. Maybe they made it a little harder for themselves, but overall they set themselves up for success with a stellar 10-2 CT half. Party Astronauts back to the drawing board, but they have one more best of 1 to try and settle the score. We are not done just yet. Tonight, our player to watch was Fang, and he had a decent performance for Party Astronauts, Nate. I mean, a very good performance statistically, 22-13, but overall, a lot of those kills were inconsequential, and while he had 93 DAR, it didn't matter.
No, a lot of those kills, especially the first half, were him pushing up Connector alone on a late lurk that was so late it was ineffective. It was him effectively playing from the back foot alone in a 1vx situation. The timing and the cohesion simply wasn't there for their T side. Party Astronauts, can they tighten things up? Can they play more cohesively as a team? Or will they look more disparate in the second best of 1? We're going to take a break, and when we return, we will have the second map between Party Astronauts and Timbermen. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the two best of ones between Party Astronauts and Timbermen. We're going straight into the Veto. We have a very brief time before the game starts. Of course, Mirage de facto banned, taken by... My lamp just fell over. Taken by the likes of Timbermen, Vertigo, and Ancient, taken down by Party Astronauts. It bans down to Nuke. Basically the exact same bans, except that first being taken by Mirage instead. Timbermen on the CT side once more. That means they more than likely won the knife round in this map. Two sets of dualies for Dare and Aleph. Flash for Snav. No kit in play. And two outside to start things off. Peeping and Ben Leet combined for one. Fang finds a second. Only a brief glimmer of resistance from Nero before he's felled. 4 versus 3 for Party Astronauts going into this hold. But a double flank through ramp could unseat this post plant.
Timbermen on their... oh, hold on. Snav's in a 1 versus 2 now as he takes down Fang. No kit in his possession yet, but he's domed by OG Wizard. Nice 3K from the young Opper on the Glock to get Party Astronauts their first round and their first lead of this evening. And what I was about to say before they decided to start fighting, Timbermen, even under the Elevate banner, have never beaten Party Astronauts on this map. It's a 2-0 head-to-head in favor of PA on Nuke. That also does go back to Sixy and Wolfie on the roster too. So we'll see how that works for the overall T-side of Party Astronauts, which fell flat as can be. Only 2 rounds on Mirage. And Party Astronauts Nuke T-side a 42.7% win rate despite an 8-3 record. So very good record on the map. Not a very good T-side. They haven't really needed that T-side. A stellar 61.9% defense, which is just shy of 62%. Absolutely fantastic. They get carried in the blue, but they're going to have to put up more than 2 here on the T side.
Start things off well with that pistol. What you needed to get the momentum to swing in their favor after what was a rough first map. Plant goes down for a little fuss, just a bit of damage exchanged. Peeping, lurking in the yard, does need to be careful. He's found the first, not quite the kill. He's got him isolated. That should be a kill, dead to rights. Eventually, there it is. Fang, a triple in the meanwhile, though. Going down secret. The MAC-10 harvesting a good bit of cash. Leaving Aleph, the ramp player, behind the box. Only a USP in hand, but hoping the Party Astronauts will hunt for him. Keep in mind, the blast radius on this map is obtusely large. If you're in the building, you're basically dead. If you're anywhere near the building, you're basically dead. In fact, Peeping might be dead here given his 41 HP and his proximity to the bomb site. He will survive. OG Wizard down to 27. But it doesn't matter. All 5 will survive. Timberman's second round falls flat as expected. They were hoping for maybe 1 or 2 kills, but doesn't matter either way. Nothing vested, and therefore nothing lost. Party Astronauts a good bonus now heading into this one. Timberman. Not the best of buys. A left on a FAMAS to prioritize utility. And no kit in play makes this one rather fragile an investment.
Shane ready to defend here. The Molotov softening up. These T's running through. He'll drop a pair and reload as well without being challenged. A Molotov into J Hall to force Nero away to isolate the duel against Shane. The bomb also down. And what a shot by Peeping onto Shane. Solid 15 to 20 degree flick that instantly removes the lone defender. And now Ben's lurk outer yard. A 1-tap onto Nero after the spray onto Dare. And the player advantage swaps from Timbermen to Party Astronauts just like that. And with Snav falling as well to the hands of the in-game leader, the captain leading from the front of the battle. The bomb will get planted eventually for Party Astronauts. Aleph behind fire. Dropped by Ben, who puts up 4. And the gun round for Timbermen, only finding 2 kills, leads into a half buy here in round 4. And an exact opposite start for Party Astronauts on their T-side of Nuke as what we saw on Mirage.
And the individual is really performing. Fang, Ben Leet, and Peeping all at 4. OG Wizard at 3. Infinite. He's only seen one person as far as I can tell, and he failed at that first hurdle. Timbermen, unable to get much of anything, regardless of weaponry in hand, are now on pistols. This buy has teeth with 2 Deagles and 3 5.7s, but they really have struggled on this CT side thus far. Fang is the lurk outside yard this time. Dare nearly gets his crosshair on Mark, but Fang is quicker with the trigger. We'll scale forward and again go for the same lurk out in towards Garage. Party Astronauts getting a little bit iterative, a little bit repetitious. It has yet to be called out by Timbermen, so they'll keep doing it until it doesn't work. Four versus 5 for the remaining Timber players. Nero boosted up ramp, could catch someone out if they choose to go that direction, but it looks like Party Astronauts have their eyes set on A, especially now so that player towards Tetris is caught.
Will Timbermen even go for the retake here? I mean, that's a nice shot from Shane, but it's small in comparison. The upgrade to the rifle, though, is the big factor. An AK to bring into the next round. I don't think he'll fight for more. Save the armor, save the AK. That's so much more valuable right now. Nero dinks OG Wizard, and that actually might be the end of him. Could toss it over to Infinite as Snav will rush forward trying to get kills. OG Wizard will strafe him down. And so Shane, one more, drops the MAC-10. That's not a problem for PA. Shane will survive with his armor and AK. That's really what he wanted out of this. And Party Astronauts go up 4-0. Shane might drop Nero and Op as well to make sure that there's extra utility available for the CT side, also to balance out the money a little bit. Not a bad idea right there. And that's exactly what will happen here. Never mind. Yeah, Shane will drop the AK to Dare, drop the Op to Nero, and buy himself an M4 to make sure the money's all balanced out. Although if I'm Shane, I'm keeping the AK, man. He's been hitting heads.
I think Nero bought his own Op.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Shane bought himself an M4.
Nero bought the Op and then sold it, and then I saw the Op pop up in his inventory. I'm like, okay, yeah, Shane definitely bought him the Op. Nope.
No, there was
Good
a lot of
catch.
flip-flopping going on. You're good. Went for a lack of helmet instead to facilitate some utility. Makes sense. Don't really need a helmet right now. The only player with a gun that doesn't one-shot headshot is Peeping on an A1S. And Snav staying on top of the silos is caught early. Dare finds one, but Fang gets a trade immediately. Fang finds another, no, it's Peeping instead. Nero in heaven does find one through the wall. It is a flurry of kills in both directions, but kills that favor Party Astronauts in the end. It's a 1 versus 1 for OG Wizard. But he clutches up and grabs the Op to boot. An expensive round for them, but at this point, Party Astronauts don't care. They're able to easily reinvest thanks to the economy built up. And Timbermen on the other side invested nearly everything, barring Shane and Dare. It's likely going to be another half buy from them. But this is very worrying at this point. As you mentioned, both teams are very solid on their CT sides. 61, nearly 62% for Party Astronauts. 56 for Timbermen. And they're already down 0-5 on their CT side, the Timbermen.
Yeah, this is not a good map to be down on the CT side, especially 5-0, and now down a player in round number 6 off an opening Op pick aggressive around red box from OG Wizard. Things are going from bad to worse here for Timberman on map number 2, the second best of 1. Ben tosses a Molotov in, and he gets dropped for his troubles. Aleph around the corner will fall, as will Dare, trying to come down the vents as well. Lots of damage sustained by Fang and Peeping, but not a problem at all for APA side with 4 alive here. Only Shane left on B, and the bomb making the right read to plant wide open on A. Shane may try to save again, but Party Astronauts will have a 6th on the board. And Infinite will run into Shane if he peeks back box, but will they actually go with that intent on a hunt here is the other question. Infinite's clearing up towards ramp, expecting the last player to be somewhere on B. Shane looks the wrong direction, and Infinite will take his time on that spray. 6-0 confirmed.
You mentioned Infinite. One of those players that's really been hitting his form recently. That's the first time he's been actually asked to get a kill.
Yeah.
That's how clean things have been for them. OG Wizard is yet to die. This has been a performance and a half from Party Astronauts, who already guarantee themselves at least a tied ball game going into the second half. Very likely a whole lot more. Timberman, another rifle buy in hand, including that Op for Nero. They do have a kit this time on the left. But Party Astronauts have just called them out time and again. They've looked infallible on this T side. And frankly, I don't expect this one to be any different. Fang. Holding passively outside, gonna go for a late lurk perhaps. Changing it up, not going from back red. And Party Astronauts lining up a lot of utility towards their spawn relatively late into the round. Minute 15 left. Bentley looking for the smoke, can't quite find it. There it is. There's the smokes for the crossing. Going to be fake outside, instead a cross on ramp. Shane will be tested. Off angle secured. But he's going to drop before contact proper is taken. He values getting set up on site more with rotations from his team. Respect the call. OG Wizard, though, wins the Opera's duel and looks for the flank immediately. Knows it's likely. I think he spotted the shoulder, and the double scope peek is definitely a choice. It works out. A little bit nauseating trying to watch that one. Third secured in the meanwhile for Fang. Shane lurking back up the ramp, a left at secret. Two players opposite sides of the map from one another. Fang knows this is likely. It's all on timing for this kill. And Fang has the timing in his favor. Shane the last, I think he was spotted by this rifler. He will find one as he drops Infinite. He's been kind of bullied throughout this map. Finds a second on the USP. Greedily tries to upgrade to the AK though, and that is his undoing. OG Wizard, 10 kills and 0 deaths for the new Opper.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, and you looked at his kill count and noticed the glaring goose egg over in the death category. OG Wizard's having himself a great half. T-side opping, had the 3K on the pistol round 2. That really secured that opening round victory for PA. And Timbermen going on the half buy again. A couple MP9s, 2 Deagles, M4 for Dare, no armor for Nero, and no defuse kits, an incendiary, and a grenade for the CT side. And peeping already with an opening onto Snav. Starting things off well for the Party Astronauts T side. OG Wizard met by the Deagle of Shane, and so we mentioned his flawless start, which comes down to an end in round number 8. Shane tried to go for another kill, but he'll drop down as fire burns around him. Aleph trying to aggress into lobby is shut down. That's the MP9's removed. The M4 still over on A, and Shane's still doing some damage. Takes a little bit more from Infinite, who will back away and be lucky to get out of there alive. Although Infinite's luck has not been great in this map. Ben will spray down one. Infinite gets Shane, and Dare's M4 spotted, known, so he'll go down towards the vents, and peeping, holding onto OG Wizard's op, will land the shot on the retreating CT. 8-0 for Party Astronauts. Buy back up for Timberman. Nero on the op once more. But aside from Shane, there is nobody else on Timberman actually doing anything positive. Dare, Aleph, Snav, and Nero combined have 7 kills to Shane's 9. And you made a good point in the earlier map, Nate. When Timbermen are having a rough time, Shane is usually there to shine and try to bring them out of the doldrums. He'll take a step back when the team is having a great time, like Mirage. He's trying to shine here, but he needs somebody else with him if there's going to be any sort of result for Timberman in a positive factor. That's a good way to start the round. Outside by Nero. Dare around in Africa as well. 1-for-1 trades back and forth. Massive damage sustained by Party Astronauts, but Ben, despite his teammates falling around and getting tagged around him, takes a fight to Snav outside Garage, and it's looking like the Cap wants to put another feather in his hat as he's on for 3. Ace potentially. Infinite goes down, but Ben has 4. Knows where Shane is as well. Spots him out. Taps! And OG Wizard will keep the ace away from Ben, but I don't think he really cares. He'll take 2 4Ks in a map and a 9-0 lead.
Nope, I don't think he cares either. The individuals across the board are waking up for Party Astronauts. It's their turn to play the game, and Timberman's turn to sit in the back seat and watch in horror. 3 M4s, a FAMAS, an MP9. Versus the full buy Party Astronauts, which we've seen throughout this half at this point. OG Wizards almost to the money limit. Fang entering out of door. Bit foolhardy as they run through the Molotov. It's a mixed bag of results. But a 2 versus 2 as the dust settles. The op misses an opportunity and leads low HP in towards Hut. But OG Wizard cracks open the site with a kill on the Dare. Shane, the last one alive. Good trade. But he's weary about where Ben Leet might be lurking. It's a 1v1. The star, the only one awake for Timberman versus Ben Leet, who's been in tremendous form on this map. Timing's everything, and so is HP. Benleet does so much damage, but it was a one shot for the M4, which gives Shane the breathing room required to get the shot down. 1-9, Timbermen finally crack open this first half. But with only one surviving, their economy is going to continue to struggle throughout the rest of this half. And Party Astronauts are not going to have to worry about getting reset.
At least for Timbermen, they finally get something on the board, besides a 0. Their buy's still not fantastic, especially utility-wise. The spams from Shane doing damage after the second try onto Infinite. Nade will chunk him down even further, but he still lives to tell a tale for now. No damage back onto Timbermen. I'm not going to count that 5 damage taken by Shane. That doesn't count. Don't be so literal. I already know people are typing. You got 5 damage. That's nothing. AKs don't care about that, do they, Nate?
99% of the time they don't.
Oof.
Nero, uncharacteristic miss. Not sure how that actually missed. Oh no,
I feel like he was moving when he shot.
He tag Infinite? Might have.
No.
Nero does get one, Snav a second, but those kills are both answered and traded. Aleph, Shane, and Dare versus Fang, Peeping, and Infinite. Infinite is low. Fang has yet to activate his outside yard lurk. He's at Africa. $30 left. They have to make their move. I think they're both in lobby, these two. Yes, they are. A-side is more or less abandoned. There's one that could rotate up heaven. There's one that could rotate up secret. That's what Party Astronauts are banking on. They're banking on Shane pushing up. Fang nearly misses the timing, but he gets the kill. They're looking out of heaven. Finds the lit player. Spots the second as well. A missed spray from Peeping is eventually recovered. But now both T's are lit. Aleph on the MP9 spots the first, misses the shot, throws the nade, but Fang gets the kill and survives with 2 HP. 10-1. The victory of Timbermen is isolated in a sea of yellow now, as Party Astronauts look to make it an 11-1 T side. Half of Nuke. Timbermen buy what they can. 1 hero M4, 4 MP9s. Good utility, but no kit. And a dream at this point.
It's more like a nightmare. A living nightmare.
Nightmare's a type of dream.
Yeah, but usually a dream is at least decent.
It has positive connotation, I agree.
Yeah.
So now the first, Nero traded. Dare is low as well.
3-1.
Won't stop him from peeking. It's a big one for him to find on low HP. An awkward duel now. Smoke outside really threw a spanner in the works. Snav as well finds a second. Maybe the MP9s were the answer they needed, Timbermen. OG Wizard lurking around with Peeping above. Drop comes in. Kill from a left. And OG Wizard, too many players to find. Timbermen secure a second as we hit the halftime break.
We're back in it. It's a 10-2 half for the Party Astronauts this time on the CT side to try and close out Nuke. It's Boggs and Pineapple Phillips on the call for this second best of one of the evening. And this, the third to last day of ESL Challenger League Season 48. Seems like we just started, Nate, but it's already coming to a nigh close. Playoffs, not next week, but the week after. Peeping and OG Wizard, an unsilenced USP for the latter. Gets one, but Peeping around the silo has help from Fang and Mini. Dropping more, Nero will finally deal with Peeping, and it's a 2 versus 2 into the early stages of this mid-round. The bomb on the ground, and Infinite, again a bit unlucky with his timing, domed, but not removed. There goes the final nail. And Fang in a 1 versus 2 on the CT pistol, a position we saw him before back on Mirage.
He was thinking it might be a rotation down vents. Instead, it's a play on A. Fang takes down the first. Good shot. Now he knows the second one's on site. Don't let him escape. Good call. Spots him crossing back and forth. And now it becomes a delicate dance. Fang. Caught by Nero, scaling forward, not scared of that pistol. Timbermen stay alive with a much-needed pistol round, but again, their T-side not favored whatsoever. They have a lot of heavy lifting to do to get back into this map.
And there's going to be a force buy here from Party Astronauts as well. 4 kills. They're thinking we might as well go in for it. MP9s on 3. Helmets on 4. And now OG Wizard will actually sell one of those MP9s and grab a scout. I like that call. And 5.7s on Ben, Leet, and Infinite. An okay amount of utility. A few smokes and a couple of flash bangs. Considering the lack of overall investments, not horrible for PA. They're mainly going to rely on tagging and bagging strategy to get them forward. Grab some of the Galils and the AK up in the hands of Timbermen. The shot towards Silo doesn't connect. And that will keep one of these rifles up in hand for now. Split towards Mini, maybe on the cards as the flash goes into Garage. OG Wizard has retreated, so has Ben. No contact yet between either side. And then OG Wizard splits the goalposts. And that will make things all the more difficult for PA.
Yes, it will. Infinite, his weapon's going to struggle at range as Nero takes down Fang. Peeping up secret. Peeps out, finds one. Ben Lee does get a second as well. The issue is his player towards L. J. Hall. Needs to be careful. He jumps away and Peeping seizes an AK, finding one. Shane trades it back to be at even footing. Peeping is a very dangerous player to be reckoned with. Does not get another. Just 2 is all he can find. Ben, though, did at least find the upgrade in a Mac 10 for this attempted clutch 1 versus 2. Dare and Shane will both walk in towards Mini. And Ben is just going to hold his nerve back of sight. This could work out if they don't clear him. Swing comes through, though. Shane is going to clear it. Shane gets the double dink. And Timbermen convert their pistol round victory. Only 2 survive. It was against a force spy, so they knew casualties were likely going to be inevitable.
Yeah, this should be a 5th on the board for Timbermen, as this one is proceeding basically a mirror of what we saw in Mirage right now. CZ, an R8 in the hands of OG Wizard.
The R8 on this HUD looks way so goofy. It looks so long.
It looks like a 44 Magnum.
Yeah, it looks like a mag. And it could work out.
I mean, I don't know how those first couple shots didn't connect, to be completely honest with you. I thought they were on. And
okay.
There's one.
It's a 3 versus 3 as well. Damage is being done. Snap on this flank, spots one. Knows where second is. That's actually Fang instead to get it with the USP.
No
Peeping on an AK finds another. This half buy / nearly full save could just bear fruit for the Party Astronaut side. Yeah, if we want to call the R8 deco, we'll go for it.
R8 co.
Shane's the last. He's been the star. He has the bomb. He's at 17 kills.
R8 headshot. Calling it.
He's going to walk into this pixel angle and get shot. Yeah. Shot's late. The info's there nonetheless.
I honestly just wanted to see an R8 headshot at this point.
You got on that angle of all angles, it would have been absurd.
I'm still shocked he has that available. Who has the R8 available? What is the percentage of people in all of Counter-Strike who have the R8 in the loadout?
OG Wizard.
And maybe like 2 others?
Maybe.
Oh,
I'm sure some people forget to remove their troll picks from time to time. And you mentioned Peeping should have the timing.
R8.
7 seconds. It gets down. OG Wizard's out of ammo. Distracting for his teammate who's caught. OG Wizard's R8 though saves the day. You asked for it. You prophesied it. 2 for him on the round. On the trusty sidearm. The 6 shooter. Which has... Does it have 6 in the mag? Does it have 8?
8.
It has 8. Very odd.
Because it's the R8. That's why I remember that.
That makes sense. Still hate it. 11-4.
I do too.
Party Astronauts steal it with, as you put it, a deco. And Timbermen, because they lost so much against the Force Spy, are now on a very weird force. Try and stay alive. Snav, invest into a Galil 2 AKs, 2 Galils, and a Mac 10. It's okay. It's definitely not great when you compare it to what Party Astronauts have in hand.
I know, they got an R8. It's obviously going to be a Party Astronauts round. They have the best gun of the game.
Best primary and secondary in OG Wizard.
Yeah. You know, I did not have 2 R8 kills in 1 round of Challenger League on my bingo card for this decade. But, you know, I could check it off now. I don't know how, but we can. He still has the R8 too, so there's a chance it gets used in this next round. That's a nice shot onto Shane. Takes a bit of a second to make sure he's on for that shot around red box. I like that call from him. The very good call, and Fang's going to drop the bomb as Snap tries to peek with it. Fang goes forward for more, but Derry catches him in rotation. OG Wizard up the ladder into heaven, keeping an eye on Mini. Peeping there as well. Helping out this CT side defense. OG Wizard takes a shot, hits the railing, misses it as Dare scales up towards heaven itself. A nade tossed by OG Wizard. He's got to be careful of somebody coming in, and he is! Quick scope on Dare. Wasn't sure if he's going to go for the no-scope or not, as Peeping eliminates Aleph in the interim. A 12-4 lead now for Party Astronauts. OG Wizard, a very good map. Peeping 21-9 as well, having himself a great performance. Only Infinite really hasn't had to do anything.
He's also gotten bullied quite a bit.
He's kind of an entry, too.
Timbermen, gonna invest what they can. Pistols. It's Deagles on 3, Tech 9s on 2, a little bit of utility. And a true dream at this point to try and stay alive in this best of 1. 8 open the door, a left taking point spammed away, actually taken away Peeping's grenade. Infinite and Ramp will finally potentially see some action. Peeping finds a second spamming the smoke. Infinite's immediately falling away, though. Not trying to contest, and OG Wizard's op will be tested, as at this point, Timbermen try to just sow chaos. 2 around lobby, 1 taken down by Peeping, second spotted, tagged down. Peeping's on for the ace. Clear out lobby. Both Timbermen players are walking ramp.
They won't be spotted. But if Snav peeks into hell, OG Wizard has the angle. He does not have the shot, though. That's a nice shot from Snav. And so, 2 versus 3, but no bomb controlled by Timbermen means this is all but impossible. The op doesn't even really shift the scales at all into their favor, especially considering the fact it's an op on a retake to grab the bomb on the A site. It's over towards hell, and Snav's going to keep it. Nero has more HP, so Snav's going to go in towards the A site, drop on down, surf around. Nero in the high ground, joins him in the low. Infinite around Tetris, holding, peeking 1, and maybe even 2. He does grab the second as well, as Party Astronauts respond in kind with a dominant 13-4 win on Nuke to split the difference 1-1 with Timbermen on the evening.
Party Astronauts, a solid rebuttal to what was a disappointing first best of 1 on the evening. 10-2 statement first half on the T side of Nuke. However, I will say it was very iterative. It was very much the same throughout. A lot of just lurking outside for Fang or Ben Leet. But the difference maker was the fact that the individuals were here and Timbermen looked uncomfortable in the second map.
Yeah, Timbermen looked very uncomfortable on Nuke, and I don't know if that's because they had to add Aleph and Nero recently, so they don't exactly have the comfort factor on Nuke. It's not a map they don't play too rarely either. 8 times played, 5-3 record coming into this isn't that bad. So, bit of a concern for Timbermen moving forward, especially as playoffs loom, and they should be just sneaking into that last playoff spot, one of those last 2 playoff spots, especially given the map win tonight in the first one. But overall, Party Astronauts played Nuke like we expected them to play both of these 2 maps.
Yes, again, perhaps a bit of fatigue setting in for Party Astronauts following their first best of 3 earlier in the evening, but they do stem the bleeding with that second best of 1. Very solid performance from them. We're going to take a look here shortly at our Kadia player to watch. That is Fang. He was not the top of the scoreboard for his team, but a lot of players were vying for that position. He still had a more than serviceable performance, though. 17-12, 1.42 KDR, and a 118 ADR in the second map. Very solid performance from him and what we come to expect given him in the star role.
Yeah, he's in the star role. He kind of gets to do what he wants, work around areas of the map, sometimes alone, sometimes with teammates, and he won a lot of those duels, both on Mirage and more impactfully and importantly on Nuke. So good performance from him. Peeping as well, showed up in a big way on Nuke. And OG Wizard, we said his name a lot on both maps, but mostly positively on Nuke too. But one guy I really want to highlight too for that Nuke performance was Ben. 2 4Ks, 1 almost ace, and some pretty good, like really solid raw individual skill showcased by the captain of the Party Astronauts in this second map too. And if Ben can bring that more often in matches against teams of a higher caliber than Timbermen as well, I think Party Astronauts might be rocketing up to the top again.
They definitely could. Both teams showing moments of brilliance in spite of making recent roster changes. Both teams setting into their new 5 players and hoping that they can really make a good run in playoffs. But as for now, that is all we have planned for tonight's broadcast. On behalf of Boggs, myself, and the production crew, have a good night, and we will see you next week with more ECL action. See you then.